Okay, I'm 48 years old. Now, I've come on YouTube to talk about LSD because I think that we're having an emergency now in the United States where we have all these citizens who really aren't paying attention to what's going on. And what's going on is we have a federal government that just can't seem to do anything about this huge global warming emergency that we're having. We also have the situation peak oil, where you can expect the price of oil to just start going up, up, up. There will be fluctuations, but we are getting to the point where we're running out of oil now. And, I'm also very alarmed about how it seems all economists can say is economic growth. Economic growth is going to solve everything. When it seems to me what they're talking about is population growth. And as I said before, I've heard that supposedly we're expected to get another 100 million people in the United States in the next 40 years. So if anyone has any information about that, um, I'd like to hear from them and see what you've heard. It's my understanding that Americans don't reproduce fast enough to even keep the population from coming down. So basically, these are people that are being allowed into the country from other countries. And my feeling is that we have to send a message to the world, and everyone's got to get the message that we have too many people on this planet, and we can't try to solve the economic problem through population growth. But I do use LSD on a regular basis. I last took LSD about a week ago. I was just noticing yesterday that I was thinking about my next trip. So my next trip will probably be in a week. Uh, Looks like what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking 600 micrograms of LSD every 2 to 3 weeks. And so how did I get involved with LSD? Well, I took it twice in college. Wasn't much to report there. Mostly took psilocybin mushrooms in college and developed a permanent tolerance for psilocybin mushrooms. But about 2 years ago, I was experiencing insomnia and job stress. So I was looking for some sort of natural cure for insomnia or treatment. Um, I have a bias against prescription medicine. I wouldn't consider taking sleeping pills. It doesn't seem like a good idea to me. Uh, they say about prescription medicine, it's all right if you use as directed or whatever. But what happens if you don't use it as directed? But in looking into this, marijuana came up quite a bit. A lot of people were suggesting marijuana, and I'd smoked a lot of marijuana in my life, so I just thought, yeah, that's true. I couldn't smoke marijuana at the time because I was driving a school bus and was subject to random Department of Transportation drug tests. And marijuana stays in your system for a long time, so there really isn't, there isn't much of a good time to smoke marijuana if you're a school bus driver in the United States. So then I was like, okay, I'm not really finding anything here, but I did look into the DOT drug test, and so I noticed that LSD was not on it. And, the one thing that was making me think about LSD was, I had a lot of fun with psilocybin mushrooms. And I liked the trip and everything like that. So, I figured at the time I wasn't taking any drugs at all. I really hadn't been taking any drugs for like 5 years or so. This is 2 years. Let's say they haven't been taking any drugs for 3 years. Let's say. So I knew that I figured LSD could give me some relief. So I started looking into LSD quite a bit, and I wasn't including insomnia in the search string anymore. So I never stumbled on the fact that LSD causes sleeplessness. But at the time, I probably wouldn't have cared one way or the other. I was just interested in taking something that I wasn't going to get tested for. So, no, I was having trouble finding LSD. I did mention that I gotten ripped off like 3 times on the streets in Manhattan. But I was looking into stumbling on other possibilities, and one of them is something called LSA, which is a legal high. And it comes in various natural forms. But probably the best one is Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds. It's called HBWR. Now, I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about LSA because I'm interested in talking about LSD because LSD has a proven track record in an emergency like this. I don't think people taking LSA is really going to cause a cultural upheaval of the type we need. One difference I can say right off the bat is that LSA tends to make you groggy. I was taking LSA. I've taken it on numerous occasions. So right there, I don't see it doing a lot of good. It's just going to make people groggy. I don't think we need people to be any more groggy than they already are. But I have to say that it is something that gives it an advantage over LSD in some ways. I actually slept through an LSA trip that I was having, where I wasn't well rested when I took it. So I was like lying down. Actually, I think what happened was I was up. And what it is with LSA, another reason I'm not interested in talking about it, is it makes you really nauseous. So the basic method is to get 8 of these Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds and chop them up. I think in a coffee grinder, which I bought a coffee grinder. It was a Mr. Coffee grinder. It's just worked like a blender. It's just got a blade in there, and then you put them in gel caps, and then you swallow them, and then you have to start getting nauseous. It's all part of the process. And you have to wait till you start tripping. And then you have to stick your middle finger down your throat and throw up. And that's about 2 hours after you've eaten them, I think. But I don't really remember all that well. But I have heard it's quite important to throw up because otherwise you can have problems with your stomach in the days to follow. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, eating these things, you can just chew the seeds, I think. But the advantage is using the gel caps is you don't have to taste them going down, and they taste horribly. This is the worst tasting stuff that you're ever going to taste, probably. That's one reason why I don't really want to go into it that much. But when you throw it up, you will have to taste it. It's really horrible. You can trip quite hard on Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds, which is LSA. The one reason I remember that I was tripping hard one time on LSA was because I was staring at myself in the mirror, and I became totally convinced that I was God. It was the first time that had ever happened to me. I never really stared at myself in the mirror when I was on mushrooms. Now, I am an atheist, but I did have this very powerful delusion, which is a common thing that can happen to you on LSD, on a psychedelic in general, I guess. So after a few seconds, I was like, whoa, wait a second here. And I sort of snapped myself out of it. I could have gone with it or whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like I think I'm God, but it was a delusion, and it was quite powerful. So that's something that makes me think LSA is quite powerful in terms of the mental effect.